G'day guys, how you going? My name's Nick. I'm going to do a review on the Warwick WFA1L. The reason why I'm doing this review is because I've owned this rifle in both the original configuration and the current configuration, which is the lightweight configuration, since around 2016. I got the lightweight configuration done about July, I believe, of last year, possibly September. I can't quite put a finger on the date. However, I'm currently operating it in the lightweight configuration. Alright, before we get into the nuts and guts of the review or my opinion on the rifle as such, we're going to go through what you can get from the Warwick store and the configurations of the rifles and what mine's currently set up in. Alright, so the caliber offerings that we have is 223, 300 blackout. For the barrel configurations, it is a 14 inch, 16 inch and 20 inch barrel for both the 223 and 300 blackout. It can be spray painted in multiple different Sierra coats. You can do your offerings up on the website. I'll put a link down in the description for the build it part of the website where you can go through and choose exactly what you want. For my rifle, I have a 14 inch barrel. It is Sierra coated in olive drab and is chambered in 223. Alright, so the rifle is a Cat B rifle and it is legal in Victoria, Queensland, South Australia and Northern Territory. For the other states, unfortunately, you can't own it. This is due to military lookalike laws, which are a joke, but I'm not going to get into that. Alright, for mine, I've got a Pulsar XM38 Thermion, which is a thermal scope mounted to the top of it. We'll go through a little bit of footage of that, of me culling some foxes a little bit later on. And we're also going to do an accuracy test. I'm using hand loads, so what I mean by that is I'm using reloaded rounds that I make in my garage. So I'm not going to go through different batches of factory ammunition that you can buy. I'm just going to do the hand loads that I use. Alright, so for the purpose of this video, the rifle has been cleared. We'll go through a flyby and just a quick look at it. You'll notice that on my rifle I have a adjustable stock that is only legal in certain states. So if you do want to do that to your rifle, if you do purchase one of these, just check your state laws to see if you're allowed to have a adjustable stock or if you're only allowed a fixed stock. Alright, so just before we get into the flyby, we're going to go through like my opinion or my thoughts on the rifle as such. So as I previously mentioned, I owned this rifle back in 2016 when it was in its heavy configuration, and I've now upgraded to the lightweight configuration. So initially when I first purchased this rifle, I honestly thought that when I first got it out a couple of times that this was only going to be a target rifle or a rifle that I could use vehicle mounted in for spotlighting and such, because I do a lot of paddock walking. So I didn't think it was going to be a practical sense lugging the rifle around. However, I did persist with it whilst in the heavy configuration. I walked around numerous times and it performed immaculately for me. It was just tedious. And then last year they released the lightweight version of it, which I initially, as soon as I found out about it, essentially I called them up and I was like, I need this to happen. And I believe it was $1,000 to get mine converted into the lightweight version with the M-lock handguards. You can get it also in a key mod if you're into key mod. However, I prefer M-lock. So that changed it up completely for me in that sense, because now it was just a lighter and more usable, friendly rifle whilst walking around in paddocks. Or even in the car for spotlighting. I'll also put up a couple of photos of what the rifle looked like before I had it. It was in like a desert camouflage, and you'll see that the accessories and whatnot I was using it, because I've used this rifle with just regular glass night vision scopes, IR mounted torches for those night vision scopes, and now I'm off onto thermal. However, the one thing that I do really want to mention is that these rifles are Australian-made products and they are very well made. I have not had any dramas, or it has not performed ill for me. I have heard some people saying that they're not very accurate in senses like that, but I haven't had any of those dramas. It has performed flawlessly for me. Right? It is a straight pull and it's spring-assisted straight pull. So it's perfect for follow-up shots, especially tripod mounted with the thermal sight on there. That greatly assists with me following up on targets on the move and whatnot. So just before I get into the flyby, what I'm going to do from here is this will be like the end portion of my opinion and whatnot, and this will be the end portion of just the talk in general. So after this, we're going to go into the flyby and then the accuracy testing, and I'll show you some fox culling videos in the thermal with this rifle. But what I want to hear from you guys is whether or not you like the video, subscribe to my channel or whatnot. Also, if you have any pros or cons for this video, I'm willing to take on constructive criticism, because this is one of the first reviews I've ever done. However, if you're just nitpicking, I'm just not going to take that on board. But I'm more than willing to hear what you have to say. Just keep it short and simple, and we'll go from there. Thanks very much, guys. So we're going to go through the components. So we have the fixed stock that it come with, and I now have the adjustable stock. I'm lucky enough in my state that I can have the adjustable stock, so I'm just using a Magpul adjustable stock. Just to the right of that, we've got the pistol grip. The pistol grip that it used to come with was called, it was just called an AR style pistol grip. It was a lot thinner. However, I've changed it to the MOE style pistol grip from Magpul again. This is also a preference that you can choose in the online shop. So if you wish to get this style, just make sure you put it on your order. Alright, to the right of that, we have the magazine release. The magazine release is just like any typical AR press down magazine comes out. This is a 10 round PMag. It will fit the majority of other AR style magazines. However, I'm just using the PMags at this stage. I have seen the 30 round PMags that have been pretty much, the capacity is only 10 round. They've just been capped at that 10 rounds. I don't know why you'd use a 30 round that's been capped to 10 rounds. It'd just be a pain in the ass while you're in the prone position, but again, that just comes down to user preference. Just to the right of that, or just above that, sorry, we have the bolt release. Flick the bolt release when you've got an empty magazine and you've put a new magazine in, the bolt will go forward. And above that, we have the casing deflector. When you round ejects, it'll hit the deflector and it will stop from any scratching. For the upper receiver, it's now the lightweight configuration. Beforehand, there was a series of Picatinny rails, which made the rifle a lot heavier than it had to be, but then now I'm going with the M-LOK style system. I've just added some M-LOK Picatinny rails on the side and below the rifle, so that I can either hook up a torch or a bipod. So just flipping it over, we have the cocking handle. The cocking handle, as you can see, this is set up for a left-hander because I'm a dirty southpaw, and just below that we have the safety catch. The safety catch is just your typical AR style safety catch. It's safe, fire, and you just flick up or down for either or. So another thing that I really wanted to mention is the fact that this firearm cannot be converted into a semi-automatic. It would not be on the Australian market if it could be converted into a semi-automatic. Last thing though that I want to mention is that it's really good to see that the Australian market is finally getting into an AR style firearms system, or just a modern rifle style system. The PRS market has been kind of leading that, but it's good to see that we're in a AR style market for all these modular upgrades. It's a really good thing to see, and I hope the market keeps growing. So from here, guys, I'm going to put up some photos of what my rifle originally looked like when I first bought it, and then we're going to go straight into the accuracy test. Alright, so the ammunition we're using is the Hornady Z-Max 55 grain with 23.5 grains of benchmark 1. Okay, so we've got a target set up at 100 metres. We're going to shoot a 5 round group. Once that group's complete, we'll go measure out the group and see how we've done. Okay, as you can see guys, I've used a heat bead for the thermal target. Behind that I put a target backing so we can measure out the group. Alright, so that looks about an MOA. We'll just pull out the measurement. Alright, this is a bit of a pain in the ass to use with one hand. Alright, so we're looking at 1.3 inches. Not too bad, not the greatest. To be honest, I'm probably just shooting shit this morning. However, I am using my hand loads. They've generally been performing quite well. I can do another one with factory ammunition if you guys wish. Just mention that down in the comments. Also, if you'd like to see how to zero a thermal scope, put that down in the comments if you'd like to see that as well. All right, thanks very much. After reviewing the footage, it looks like I possibly have pulled the last shot, being this one here, but it looks like we do have sub MOA.